Welcome to another edition of the P&K Podcast. I am your host, Keon Grissom.
And I'm Paul Marshall.
And Paul, you know my favorite team, the Atlanta Falcons. And I know your favorite team, the Seattle Seahawks. The Falcons recently acquired Dan Quinn, former defensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. And now he is our head coach. Can you tell the Atlanta Falcons fans what to expect from Dan Quinn as a head coach?
So all Falcons fans who are wondering what are they getting from Dan Quinn, who's been introduced as the new head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. Well, for sure, let's start off with what we know. And what we know is defensively, he's had many years of NFL experience, more recently with the Seattle Seahawks. He's been able to turn around that secondary, that whole defensive front really, with the Legion of Boom, and what they've been able to do last year and this year. They've been one of the elite defenses in the entire league, and they were, a play away from being two-time Super Bowl champs. So for sure, what you're getting is an immediate impact on the defensive end. Now, I know with the Atlanta Falcons, they want to restructure some things, bring in a pass rusher, look to draft, and kind of tweak the roster they have. But I believe that Dan Quinn will come in and fix that right away. Now, I know the major concern is, well, we're bringing in another defensive coach, another mind. How is he going to mesh with the offense? What's the difference between him and Mike Smith? I'll say this. When Mike Smith was hired, the Atlanta offense, we weren't really sure what they were going to bring. If they had a quarterback, they had a running game, all this other personnel. At this point now, the Atlanta Falcons have Matt Ryan. Now, I do agree that when you're changing continuity from one coach to the other, it takes some time and it'll be an adjustment period. But I believe that Dan Quinn is smart enough to know from what his experience has been with the Seattle Seahawks is that you have Matt Ryan, you have a franchise level quarterback. You need to worry about the defense so that the offense can be set up perfectly by the defense. And once we've seen a few years ago when Atlanta made the NFC Championship game, once the offense was clicking, they were on a roll. And the defense played a major part in that. So I think Dan is understandable in the sense, and he's also a player's coach too. So he's more likely going to have an open door policy and listening to different suggestions. And I think that'll help ease the transition. But for sure, you're getting someone who knows defense, understands defense from day one. Dan Quinn is going to look at that locker room and figure out what they need to do defensively to take that next step and be a contender. And not just the NFC South, but in the entire NFC and the whole NFL. But I think Dan Quinn defensively, he's going to make an impact.
Well, Paul, with Dan Quinn being a former defensive coordinator of your favorite team, I'm going to keep you accountable, man. But all jokes aside, Dan Quinn definitely has a challenging task when it comes to Atlanta Falcons defense. Defense was ranked one of the worst defenses in the NFL last year, but it's not like they don't have talent. They have Croy Bierman, Desmond Trufant, Robert McClain, and Osi. So he just has to upgrade a couple players and do well with the defense. Atlanta Falcons fans don't expect a Legion of Boom, but expect progress when it comes to the Atlanta Falcons defense. And you don't have to worry about the offense of the Atlanta Falcons. They have a great wide receiving core. The offensive line can do a little bit better. But with the wide receiving core, it was ranked number 1 in the NFL in 2013 with Julio Jones, Roddy White, Harry Douglas, and at the time, Tony Gonzalez. But even with Tony gone, you have Tolololo, who replaced Tony Gonzalez, and he did very well as his replacement. Not Tony Gonzalez numbers, but he did well. Plus the add-on of Devin Hester was very promising for the Atlanta Falcons. So there's still talent when it comes to the wide receiving core, but now that leaves pressure on Matt Ryan to not be so playbook as a quarterback. As a franchise quarterback, you're going to have to get that football IQ of who to throw to, how to leave the pocket. So the pressure is now on Matt Ryan to be what we call a franchise quarterback.
Hey guys and gals, thanks for listening to another installment of the P&K Podcast. Remember, you can like, subscribe, share, or comment. Yeah, that's right. There's a little icon on the bottom of your screen. You can go ahead and click, do so. Go ahead and hit the keystrokes on the keyboard and give us feedback. Tell us what you think, what you like, what you didn't like. We're all ears. And thank you so much for taking the time to listen to the P&K podcast. Cool.